Just got out in my car. It's about, what is it? Close to 6:30. It's raining here. It's actually chilly, which is a rare thing here. But I was just thinking, I'm in this little, pickup truck, and I had one of these when I was younger. And I moved out. I drove from Wilmington, North Carolina to Las Vegas, and from Las Vegas to Sacramento. I had quit my job at the prison, and I just lost my first brother, and I went, I started talking a little bit more to my younger brother, and we just never had a good relationship or anything like that. So we've been in bands pretty much on and off our whole entire life, and then we started talking again, and he was like, well, why don't you come move out here, and da-da-da-da-da, and I always wanted to move to California, not Northern California, but California's better than fucking, wherever. So I have a habit of moving to places that I've never been either, so it's kind of funny. But I went to Las Vegas for 4 years. I'd never been there before in my life. My dad said he was moving there. I said, I'm in. I'm from fucking Buffalo. I'll go, trust me, it's got to be better than there, all right? So I moved out there, and it's like I showed up out there, and he acted like we never had a conversation or conversations about him, about me and him, whatever, starting a band together and stuff. So he just, I remember, because my dad would never do shit about any of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's what the fuck I hate about men that don't fucking take charge of situations, especially a father. You're the man of the house. You're the leader, so allegedly, wink, wink, supposedly, maybe. And I remember calling him, and I was getting on the highway down on, I think it was Watt Avenue. I'm not 100% sure, but I was getting on the highway, and I just remember saying to my dad, yo, there's something really fucked up going on with him, okay? Because I had been on and off my entire life. We've never even lived near each other other than when we were kids and shit, and I just, he acted like a fag half the time, so I just, whatever, so I pieced out on him, and he pieced out on me a lot sooner than I did, you know what I mean? So he just could never be bothered with me, So, but I always given him an opportunity to come around and stuff. And I remember one time, this happened later. I'll just tell you this. He was in my living room in my apartment in Buffalo, okay? And he was talking on the phone to his girlfriend, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get up at 5 o'clock. Can you just, keep it down, or can you go out in the hallway? And he's like, relax, okay? Acted like that to me a couple years. Listen, before, when I was in my 20s, I would just fucking starch him, you know what I mean? I would hit him right in his face and knock him out, you know what I mean? He's just a little dickhead, half the time, And I just said, I just lost my marbles on him. And then later, he left to go move in with her, and he got kicked out of her house. He got kicked out of her house, and my dad called and said, hey, can you let him come back? I said, absolutely not. I don't care what happens to him. And so I lived, and this is what he ended up doing to me long before so I moved out to California. I'm out there. I think I seen him once or twice. He bothered me once to borrow $40, which is the magical crack cocaine number. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, I need supplies for work. And I go, oh yeah, just $40 worth. You fucking priced it all out and everything. You need gloves and, this, that, whatever. You know what I mean? So he started acting, he never wanted help. And I remember he moved back to New York, and I remember he said, I'm going to move back to California again. This is years later. And I said, dude, if you move, God told me to go tell him, okay? God told me to go tell him, and I've said this story before, but God told me to go tell him, hey, if you move to California, you're going to die. I'll never see you again. And I remember struggling with it, living in Niagara Falls. I didn't want to drive across the bridge to Buffalo, and be bothered with this. You know what I mean? But, yeah, he came back home to Buffalo. He ruined my band that I put together. He ruins everything that he touches, on purpose. You know what I mean? And he just doesn't give a fuck about you or anybody or anything. So the last time when he was alive, he'd only want to talk to me when he was high, when he was medicated or he was in a fucking hospital bed and he could slow down. And I had just started getting clean, and I didn't want no part of it, I didn't want to hear any of his bullshit, He called me talked to my mom, and my mom was like, oh, your brother wants to talk to you. And I said, you know what? Fuck him, okay? I'm sick of my entire life. Whenever he fucking feels like it's time to talk, he can make a little time for me. Fuck him and fuck you. I don't want to talk to any of you people. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what I said. I go, I don't even fucking care about this shit anymore. And he died like 7 days later, you know? And I remember telling my dad, it was right near Christmas time. Right? Actually, he died December 13th. You know, and of 2018, maybe, I think. And I remember I was in a meeting in rehab, and it was about this guy that played on the Boston Celtics that was a big pillhead like myself, you know, so I kind of identified with him. And he would be out in the parking lot waiting for his dealer with his jersey on, you know what I mean? And I just remember getting really emotional, like this feeling I've never had before in my life. And a week earlier, I called my dad and told him, I said, Dad, this is going to be the worst Christmas that I've ever experienced in my life. You know what I mean? Or you or my mom or anybody, you have no idea. And he's like, why do you say stuff like that? And I said, I don't know, man. I'm just telling you, things are going to get really bad. And then 7 days later, he died. And I got the call. I was in rehab. And I remember just like, you know, my dad, I just knew he was calling me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and in Vegas it's like 10 o'clock or something. I know his ass wasn't up, you know what I mean? And he's like, your brother's gone. And I said, okay. And I didn't ask any more about it. You know what I mean? I didn't ask any more about it. I didn't think any more about it. I thought, you know, he probably died alone. He probably overdosed. He probably shot up. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? But whatever it was, he died. Or he died of, you know, he wasn't taking care of himself with his diabetes and shit like that. He was a young, you know, he had Crohn's disease. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? I just know he died. And I just know that, you know, like, I've seen so much shit in my life that I just don't think people realize when they're talking to me or when they're dealing with me or whatever, that like all of this shit that's going on right now in the world, yeah, it's very tumultuous and it's fucking dramatic and it's all this, that, and the other thing. But when I start getting like stressed out and I start feeling like I gotta be everything to everyone or everybody needs 5 minutes from me, I just shut the whole fucking operation down. You know what I mean? I just shut the whole thing down, you know? And I just feel like people don't really, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like people are really sincere, you know, on here anymore. You know, people, meanwhile, they go through all the motions of putting on a good show, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, I don't know, you know, like, I just don't think people really are real with themselves, nor are they real with God. And I think that's why you're having, and it comes down to the truth too. I remember sitting across from the girl at the drug place, and I was thinking how much I wanted to get her in bed. And she's like 27 years old, really cute girl. And I was like, man, I'm gonna talk to her about, like doing embarrassing shit. You know what I mean? Like smoking crack, for weight loss purposes only. But, I just said I have to tell the truth or I'll never be able to do this. Will never work. And I would catch myself lying. I would catch myself lying to her. I would catch myself lying to her. I'd catch myself lying. I go, no, that's not what happened. That's not what, I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. And I go, I got to do this right. And, and I try to tell people, it's in the Bible, the Holy Spirit is a spirit of truth. These people that are walking around today with their heads up their ass and don't know what's going on legitimately, it's because they've done this their entire life, that they've seeked whatever answer best suited them. There's no God. We came from apes. I can go and do whatever I want with the rest of my life and I don't have to worry about anything, And I'm starting to see people's egos and what they really are manifest themselves big time. So anyways, I'm having a lot of things that the Holy Spirit is showing me right now, and most of it is pretty hard to articulate into words. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. So Merry Christmas.